Oh, hey, how you doing? Glad you stopped in. It's good to see you again. I'm getting kind of tired of this sanding project. I tend to get burnt out a little bit, a little disheveled, kind of, it can be a little disappointing or depressing, that's it. When you got so much to do, you don't have enough time, and it's hard to get anything done, and you just want it done. You get to that point. Through this video, I'm going to tell you a couple tricks that I use to keep myself motivated and keep my ding-a-ling in gear, so to speak. Welcome back to Junks Automotive. Well, ran into a little bit of trouble, so I thought I'd show you real quick. What you see here is some more guide coat. I felt a little something, right? And then something over here, like a little, I guess, a roundy high spot. But this just goes to show you that just because you sand this off doesn't mean it's perfectly flat. You know, it just depends on, that's why you cross hatch and do all that. And it's still, I still use my hands. You know, I'm blind as bad as it is. So I'm hoping I can block this out. Well, I thought, well, I had my little skinny wood block, and that's great for straightening stuff out, right? Because it's hard. It doesn't flex, doesn't do anything, right? So I figured I needed a bigger one. There you go. It's a piece of 1x2, really nice and smooth on one side. Well, the paper's not big enough, so I just doubled it up, right? What the heck? So I'm hoping that you'll be able to see what I'm feeling. See that? There's a high spot. That light spot's a high spot. See, that's already gumming up my paper. Let me get some more paper on here and I'll turn you back on. So what I was feeling was right here. Can you see that? This lighter colored area, and you can see the darker around it, and this lighter colored area. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep blocking that out until that guide coat's gone, and then running my hands all over it. We'll get it straightened out. You're gonna have problems. We got to figure out a way around them. You know, just like yeah. Well, that's what we got. These dark spots right here are the primer sealer. That's the primer sealer that's underneath our polyester high build primer. So that means I'm stopping. If there's a little bit of something right there, I can't feel it. And if there's something there, it is what it is. We've got to get down the road. But I do know it's as good as I'm going to get it. It's a lot better than it was going to be before I redid that whole area. So, you know, save your nice finished cut lumber. You never know. Save the little pieces. So now I've got my door straightened out where I'm happy. Working this little area here. Now this bottom of this whole panel has been replaced right down through here. A lot of body work, you know, but all I did was use my little hard block. This thing's not going to flex, right? Now you got to keep in mind it's rounded from here to here. All these body panels have a roundness to them, just like this and like this. It's a bubble, right? So we don't need to make it straight. We just can make it consistent and smooth. And that's all I did was just like that. I had a little bit of funniness down here, and it's from body work. So I just used my block, cut it down a little bit. You know, and I can work into my edges a little bit. You know, like I say, we're going to go over this for 400 again anyway. The places like this, like inside this door, let me open this door and move you around so you can see, because you know I'm such a good photographer. You can see all this right here. Right now, like I said, it's round, so it dives in just a little bit right at the end of it, just like the doors do, the hood, all the panels do that little, you know. So I'm going to take my soft block, one of my favorite little blocks. It's a, I call it a sponge block, but it's just really soft foam rubber, and it's nice and flat. I pick it up. You know, the thing with a really soft board like this, it's going to conform to whatever you already have here, right? It's not going to change it much. So if it's wavy and you sand it with this, it's still going to be wavy, just smoother. But this is right where I kind of like it. It's good enough for me. So, you know, these little places down here, do just like you do a regular block, nice and even pressure. You don't want fingers hanging off the side or anything like that. It's great for the rocker panels. It kind of just conforms with what's there, because if you know, no matter what, you've got to be able to make paint to stick. So you can see the high spot I was talking about. And you can see a little dark spot right there. That's our epoxy primer under the polyester. So what I want to do, kind of feather off this polyester down into here and get rid of this roughness. And that's just the orange peel in the filler is all that is. Get rid of the orange peel. That's all I'm doing. And I keep going over it because we want to feather it out. If I keep going in one spot and stop, you're going to be able to see it when we paint it. Now, you see that? That's good. Of course, when we go to do our 400 wet, we're going to go around all our edges, right where this is our paint line, right? Now I want paint to come inside here a little bit, so 400 wet's going to come right around in here and catch that edge, so that when paint goes in there, you know, it's going to be a nice soft edge and it'll stick. It's not going to peel and come out this way, because that's what will happen. All right, now this right here takes a little different process. So I think I've showed this before. There's where we just took off, and here's where the fender starts coming out. It's a bubble. So you have this crease inside here. What I've got, and I use this to do the body work, I use this to shape my body filler, is that right there. You see that angle on that piece of styrofoam block? That's all it is. Then I'm going to take a piece of 180, go right around that radius all the way down through there. It's shaved down the same way. I just used a piece of sandpaper and made it the shape I wanted. And it's a sanding block. So I can get in here, you know, I can do that whole crease all the way down through there. And if you look down here, all right, right down here. You see a little dark spot right there, right here. So what I'm going to do, we're going to make that go away. This is where our body filler is, right through here. And I want to still go out this direction, and I can come up this direction to feather it all off. Because what will happen if you're not careful, we'll have a big groove in there. We want it to be nice and shaped, just like everything else. you know. We'll catch this when we get to sanding this, obviously, but if that keeps up, we'll have to fill it in. I'm also holding it at an angle like this, so that this corner is going inside there, but when I'm going like this, it's feathering out this part. I do it on a downstroke too. Said I don't want to concentrate just on that little spot to get it out. I need the whole thing kind of needs to come down to that level. It's about gone. About can't even feel that. We might put a little dab of something in there. Like I said, we're going over this with 400 wet. This is 180. So this primer will also go down just a little bit more. I'm gonna call that good. Time we 400 that, I might have to do a little something down here anyways. All right, as I was saying before, getting burnt out is probably I'll be back. There's a 7-year-old hauling through the window there. She wants to be on YouTube again. But like I said, being burnt out is probably going to happen. Especially a long project like this, best thing to do, put that off as long as possible by trying to avoid it. Take breaks, you know. Problem is, most guys will take a car like this, tear it completely apart, and then they're going to sit. You know, because they've tore it apart, which is the worst time at all in a life's vehicle, is being torn into pieces. It's worth less than any other time in its life. So, you know, that's the tough part. And a lot of guys or gals will just stop. And it sits, and it sits, and it sits. And some guy comes along, you know, maybe like me, you're going to buy that thing. We're going to get it pennies on a dollar that way because it's not worth anything, all separated in parts and pieces. Sort of like this one was when we found it, you know. You just got to trudge through, take a break, get off your feet, get some liquid hops, whatever you got to do. Go outside, walk around, mess around with the 7-year-old a little bit, take breaks. But no, it's work. You got to know that it's going to be work, and you're going to get tired of it, and you're going to get tired of looking at it. You got to really psych yourself out, because you remember what this thing looked like? It came in pieces. It didn't run. Now it runs. Had rust all over it that really needed fixed, and a ton of body work. Well, that body work's all done. So we've got to keep in mind how much we've accomplished, right? We'll finish my break and we'll get back to work. Waiting for that kid to holler again. Break over. Now the other thing is, I've got this jacked up where I can stand here. I ain't bending over. I can sit in the chair, do the bottom edge, you know, without bending over. The physical side of it can wear you down. So think about how you can make it as easy as you can on yourself, on the old belly, you know. So if any of you guys are new here, this is a piece of mud flap. So it's got a rough side where it got molded and a smooth side that you see. I had mud flaps for the Airstream out there that I wanted the Yosemite Sam and the back off and the two pistols, you know. But the only ones that I could find that were real good heavy duty rubber, the old school kind, were for a semi. So they're too big. So I had to cut all the way around to keep those Yosemite there and have the mud flaps I wanted. But these are great. It's flexible. You take, put your paper down, kind of the circumference or the angle you want, push it down, and it'll really kind of hold its shape, you know. It works. So over here we got some roughness, and what that is where I believe I bumped into it when I was putting the primer on, and so, you know, just, well, it's pretty rough. So we're going to use our, and what I want to do is cut that down. It's going to run across and just take the high spots off. Like that. You still feel it, but you know, we'll get her out. Alrighty, well, that side of the car is done. Got a few touch-ups, stuff like right there that I'm gonna want to fix. A couple little dents up there. You know, there's probably not a whole lot to fix, believe it or not. I'm kind of impressed with myself, but we got this side of the car to do. Yep, I'm not done yet. So let me let the car down, spin it around that way so you guys can see better and I can have more room and get, you know, probably get the DA out or something. Kind of cut this down real quick.
Took our wedding vows, left that little country church and headed into town. We checked into the motel to spend our honeymoon. Next morning when I woke up, you chased me out the room. It's back to work, work, work. That's all I ever do now, honey. Work, 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 just to get along with you. Work, 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 stay real ways out of money. Work, 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 what's an honest man to do? Lost my job, dear, would you love me just the same? If I only had $1 bill left to my name. Yeah, take that bill and tell me you'll love me for all time. To prove it, you go out and spend every single dime. It's back to work, work, work. That's all I ever do now, honey. Work, 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 just to get along with you. Work, 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 stay real ways out of money. Work, 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 what's an honest man to do? Work, 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 what's an honest man to do?
That's enough for one night, I tell you. Man, But I set a goal just to get it done tonight. Get the 180 grit done. Next we'll move on to 400 wet sand, and we'll guide coat the whole entire thing. Much lighter this time, just a spritz, right? So, when it comes to these kind of things, slow and steady wins the race. Trust me. Slow, meaning take your time. You need a break, take a break. Steady means stay consistent with it. You want to take a couple weeks off and don't touch a project, that's okay. You go farther than that. I know me, after about 2 weeks, I start to get an itching to work on it. And the reason is the longer I go without working on it, the more afraid I'm not going to work on it, right? And usually the hardest part in a project like this is to get started. Once you get started, you're in the groove. You just turn the tunes on. Like I said, have you some liquid hops, whatever your thing is, and have a good time. That's what this is about. It's about having a good time, right? That's what we're here for. So, there's Uncle Mike's advice on the whole burnout situation. You're going to get burnout. Just accept it, work with it, slow and steady. We'll see you next week. Junk out. Man, my arms hurt.